It's me, Sean Capri. I'm usually in my car, and you're listening to the Nintendo Drive. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Console Caito, the sauciest potato, and on our journey today, we told you that Direct was totally going to happen, so let's jump on in to the Nintendo Drive. Here we go!
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Caito. I'm on the very tail end of a bit of a cold here. I'm not stoked about the yelling and the screaming, but hopefully that sounded okay. How are you, my friend?
I'm really good.
Yeah?
I'm really good. Yeah, we totally
did it.
That.
And we didn't doubt it for a second.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's all I'll say about that.
I will say I'm so encouraged, and I love that everybody is in on it with us. You know, after, they announced the Direct after we recorded, of course.
Of course.
And everybody's reaction to it was Caito and Sean's reverse psychology totally worked. So there you go. I love it. We have something special going on with our friends in the community right now. Right.
Because last week it was the Direct. The week before that, it was the Bluetooth. So
That's right.
what are we going to talk about today that they're going to announce 2 hours after we record?
Well, and even right before the Direct, as we were live reacting at youtube.com/consolecaito, I don't know how to really read into this, but you still didn't think we were going to get Animal Crossing stuff.
I didn't.
Maybe it's just healthy pessimism to, as a defense mechanism. But I was like, I think this is the time. And you're like, no, you didn't even argue whether or not like it was going to happen. You were arguing whether or not I thought it was going to happen, which is why I laughed so hard at that moment.
Right. Well, it's just, I wanted it so badly to happen that I knew if I had any glimmer of hope that it wasn't going to happen.
But can you imagine if they didn't? Like, imagine, like, I'm glad that we didn't. We'll talk all about that. But imagine if you went through that whole Direct and you got everything else except Animal Crossing. Like, what, like, what kind of state would you be in,
It would be a totally different response. And 100%. I wouldn't be able to be excited about anything else because I would be so upset.
That's really an interesting way to put it, because I've talked to a number of people about the Direct. Justin Masson and I met from the Nintendo Dads. We had a couple beers the other night. I talked to Donnie Reese about this as well. And I feel like for the people who aren't in Animal Crossing, maybe they didn't get their version of that, and maybe they walk away from it a little bit disappointed. But I am excited for you. I'm excited for so many people, and we'll get into all the reasons why. But like, I came out of it pretty positive, and I think that's why. I think I was feeding off of excitement and the surprise that it finally was here.
Yeah. Let's clean out the garage a little bit. This whole episode is going to be obviously talking about the Direct, our reactions, what we think, what we're excited about, what we don't like, all that stuff. Let's clean out the garage a little bit. Just a weekly reminder, you can listen to the Nintendo Drive on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff, but also make sure you're subscribed to youtube.com/Yumi Capri. You can listen to it there as well, along with some other amazing content over there. Also, we had a YouTube comment this week from Rachelle Wille. Great show, you guys. You made me laugh out loud. Have a great day. Which was super sweet. I'm glad we can make you guys laugh.
Yeah.
So nice. But so obviously, the breaking news this week is Nintendo not only announced, but also had the Direct since the last time we talked, which is, it all escalated so quickly.
We had nothing except for doubt and anger, and then they told us it was happening. They told us it was going to be 40 minutes. They told us it was going to focus mainly on games coming out in winter, which who still even knows what they even mean when they say that? Like, I don't think that the Direct clarified that at all. But yes, they announced it all. I love that they can do it. They can surprise us. They don't have to give us like a save the date a month in advance. They'll just have us on pins and needles for a summer and going into a fall, and then just drop it on us. Super cool.
Just drop it. Right.
Do you think that this, like, so if next year when we get to the same point, you and I will be recording
I will
throughout
still doubt it.
Yeah. It doesn't build any confidence for next year. Like, that's exactly what they want you to do. Like, just to start trusting them, and then they will break your heart so that they can salvage it later. It's a manipulative game that Nintendo plays.
It really is. It really, really is. So first things first.
Yeah.
Overall, how did you feel? Like if you could rank it, let's say 10 is the best direct you could ever ask for, and 1 is the worst. What would you rank this overall?
It's so funny because I think about it in such a positive way. And then as soon as you bring up like numbers, I think about it a little bit more objectively, in which case like I don't know if the substance is there to really like rank it up all that high, but I felt like they did a good job. Like I somewhere like in my feelings, I'm somewhere around an 8. And I honestly don't know if I need to describe exactly why that is. And maybe as we get into it, people can kind of just, decide otherwise. But I feel like this was a really good, exciting, motivating kind of direct. For me, it was, I'm glad that I've got a Switch. I'm glad to be part of the community. From that perspective, I felt really good about it. But the other side of it that I typically look at these directs is like, can I afford the direct? And I probably can, like in an okay way, meaning that there's not a huge number of games that were announced that I will be like rushing out to buy, Although I might be switching over on this Metroid thing. I think I might need something to play in that time spot. I might end up just getting that. So yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. I try to be as objective as I can. As someone who asks people all day, every day, rate your pain 1 to 10, I want to be realistic here.
Yeah. That needs to be a segment, rate your pain. Especially in a Nintendo show.
Because you'll have the people who come in and they'll tell me 10 as they're smiling. And I'm like, look, I'll call the ER right now. If you're a 10, we need to call the ambulance.
Right.
But so I was going to go with 8, but trying to be as objective as possible.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's probably realistically, as excited as I am, it's probably between a 6 and a 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because let's be real, they could have shown Animal Crossing New Horizons 2. They could have shown, an entire Breath of the Wild 2 segment. There could have been much more exciting things than Kirby and the Forgotten Land or whatever else.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it's like when you think about it, you could get a new Mario Kart or an actual salvation of Mario Golf even, and it's like you got a couple characters in Mario Golf, you got a Kirby game, you got a little update on a Mario Party. So like there's a lot of reasons where we could really get down on it, which are sort of in the show notes people will see it's captured in the other section. Like there's a lot of that we won't necessarily highlight too much. But you're right, like those are the types of things that kind of bring it down a peg or two. And also I'm feeling like you and I were both kind of down on the E3 one and both kind of up on this one. And to be like, if we really break it down, there probably was harder hitting announcements at E3.
True.
So who knows?
And maybe even more stuff that we would want to purchase from E3.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Overall, which is, it's so bizarre how that works. And like I said, like objectively giving it. Right. Giving it a 6 or 7 doesn't mean by any means that I disliked it. I am coming out of this direct much more elated than I was from E3. And obviously a lot of that plays into the Animal Crossing situation.
And honestly, even the Smash, which I'm not into yet, but I do think that my kids and I will be getting into it. I actually liked that they said there is something coming, and we're going to dedicate a full direct to both Animal Crossing and Smash. Like to me, that is part of my excitement. That's part of my 8 that I feel is because like I'm glad that they did it that way. That they gave us a little nugget and said like just be patient. There's a lot more coming, and it seems like it'll be worth the wait. Now, time will tell if that's the case. But I just like that format of it.
Right. That kind of plays into one of the questions that we have for today from Seamus McIsaac. Famous Seamus on Twitter asked, would you rather Nintendo just announce the last Smash Fighter and show what's coming to Animal Crossing in the Direct, or do you like it to have its own show? And I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I want it to have its own thing.
Yeah.
That just means there's so much more that they have to detail and talk about, and they can really cram a lot more of the other stuff into this.
Yeah.
All I need is hey, we're still thinking about you. It's like, we know you're
they
there.
recognize that it's important. Honestly, like if they just kind of like threw it in there, I don't even know if Smash people would have wanted that. Like this really gives it its own space to breathe. It doesn't get washed out by any of the other announcements. It really goes to show that they understand that this last character reveal is a big deal, and it's not just something you troll somebody at the start of a direct, making them think it's something else, and then it's an actual Smash reveal. Like it's more than that is kind of the sense that I get from them. And then the same thing for Animal Crossing. But yes, this is exactly what I want from them. It does make me wonder, like, who the heck is it going to be, and how drawn out is that direct going to be? Like, if it's going to be whatever. Did they say if that one was a 40-minute or 20-minute? I feel like there's rumors going around.
I don't know if they said. You're talking about Smash, right?
Smash, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
I don't know if they said the time.
Yeah,
I don't think they've said the time for either of them.
Yeah.
But another one of Seamus's questions is, who do you want the last Smash fighter to be?
You're going to hate me for this, Caito.
I don't even know who is in Smash.
You remember a point in time when you and I were talking about old Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, and old Sarah Bond?
Oh my gosh.
They are executives over at Xbox. They had their Switch in the background. I wonder if it could be something like Master Chief, like if that's the reason for like the Nintendo Switch appearing in Xbox videos, if that's the partnership. Obviously Game Pass isn't coming to Switch like I was hoping for, but I also don't know if that's something that would get. I feel like this is like for Smash people, like for Nintendo people, and I wonder if there's more of a like first party character who still has yet to make their way into Smash. If it's something like that, is it
going to be like Waluigi or something? Doesn't everyone want him?
Everybody and I don't know if that would be like satisfactory. You don't, like, in a way, maybe, but yeah, I could see it possibly if they're gonna go first party Waluigi. I also, and again, this is me a little bit out of my element. Isn't Waluigi already like a trophy or some sort of like he's already in there in some capacity? I'm not sure if I heard that or not. So, and yeah, again, is that really what we want? Is that really the last character, you know?
Master Chief would be really cool.
I think Master Chief would be cool, and especially...
I think you're reading too much into the Switch in the background of stuff.
Possibly. The timing of it, especially, it's a Xbox slanted prediction, because it helps probably... maybe it helps Smash as well. Like, Halo's coming out. There's a new Halo game coming. And so that would be a really interesting partnership to benefit both, you know. Go play Smash because Halo's the biggest deal now, and go play Halo because you played Master Chief in Smash. That would be kind of neat. And yeah, like they've got Banjo, but which is owned by Microsoft. But was obviously has heritage on Nintendo. So I don't know.
I was gonna say, do you think the Banjo thing is more of the partnership?
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, just on the Nintendo, the Switch Online plus expansion pass. Yeah.
Yes.
Expansion pack. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't know. I don't have a good suggestion for this. I don't even know who exists in Smash. Although Master Chief would be very cool.
Like put Yarn Poochie in it. I don't know.
Oh my god!
I'm like looking at my Amiibo. Like
although I've heard a lot of people want the Kingdom Hearts guy.
No. Oh yeah, Sora. Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts guy. Yeah.
You said Kingdom Hearts, and I heard Fire Emblem for some reason. I'm like, you can't have another.
No.
Can you imagine riots in the streets if they put another Fire Emblem character in there? Like, oh my gosh.
No.
The ultimate troll.
Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of what I'm hoping that they do is they kind of give you a bunch of people who aren't in it first before they actually reveal who is in it. Like they just show a bunch of characters who aren't going to be in it. Like, not a chance.
Oh my gosh, that would be so funny.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse.
Well, so that's kind of our overall impression. So now let's jump into what exactly we saw during the Direct. And we're going to start, obviously, with Animal Crossing.
With Smash. Oh,
because it's the only place. It's the only place to start.
Yeah, obviously.
Animal Crossing. The Roost and Brewster are finally coming. And that's not even what I'm most excited about. It's just the fact that it has its own Direct.
Yeah.
More stuff is coming. And I really hope with the Direct that they outline kind of like, I don't know if it'll necessarily be the rest of this game's lifespan or what their plans are for the future. I hope they outline a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is what's coming. Even if you're not going to get it until 6 months from now, here's what's coming in the future. That way, we don't have to do all this speculation stuff. I just want to know, what are your plans? Is this it? Are we getting more? Just outline it for me here.
And it makes sense. Like in the long term, this is, I feel like, going to make more sense to people who have maybe been a little bit on the frustrated side over especially the last 6 months or so. But like the game really hasn't been out all that long. It's just we've been locked indoors and in quarantine this entire time and, playing the absolute crap out of Animal Crossing. I do feel like my guess here is that you are going to get something substantial about Animal Crossing, and that roadmap, I think, is going to be laid out for people in a way that hopefully will just kind of like put that off so that you don't have to, you don't just like revert back into that mode of, okay, well, we played all your updates and now we still don't know what's going on. Like that won't be satisfying either. So I think there's a tall order for Nintendo on this Direct. The fact that it is its own thing just means at least the expectations are going to be pretty high, I would say.
Right. Yeah, I did an entire video on what I'm expecting out of the Direct and also what I'm hoping will come from the Direct. I feel like those are two different things.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Brewster, as much as I love him, is not enough.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be more. It's just going to be, what is that something more? And it's got to be something that extends the gameplay. And one of my things I talked about was I can see them adding this like mini game island. You played New Leaf, right? So you remember the island that you went to and you could play mini games and you could play with friends and everything. I wish they would have done that sooner. If that's something they're adding now, that's great. Yay. I feel like it's too late. I personally feel like it's too late. I don't know if I have a specific reason why that is, but everyone's gone back to work. Everyone's gone back to school. I don't think as many people care about the mini games at this point. I think something that would be more substantial if they want to go for Animal Crossing is really this iteration of Animal Crossing. They've really focused a lot on this multiplayer aspect despite it not being a great experience.
Right.
They really gear Animal Crossing towards that with all the trading that you have to do to get all the items and all of that stuff. So if that's the route they want to go, they need to update the way that you design on other people's islands. You can't do anything. You can just plant flowers and dig up flowers. But if they implemented something that was like, okay, well, now you can place items and you can basically do anything except for terraforming.
Yeah.
I think that would be a huge update because then you could decorate with people. Can you imagine me on stream being able to like go to people's islands and decorate their island with them?
Well, I could really use that. Yeah, that would be very helpful for me. Yes, please.
Right.
Well, and I wonder if there's any sort of like tie-in to Brewster, like just the coffee shop, like the Roost. Like I wonder if like that's where people meet and that's where they gather. I wonder if there, to your point, like I wonder if there's a multiplayer element of that. Like meet me at Brewster's. I think that would be really neat.
That would be really cute.
Yes.
I'm hoping that you can still work for him and all of that stuff. I do hope there's something else that extends the gameplay as far as Brewster goes too. Like it needs to be more than just I make my villager a coffee.
Right. Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't know what it is.
Well, that's what I was like a little bit confused. I'm like, I feel like I just went in there and I got like a little like shaky when I grabbed the drink.
Right.
I'm like, yeah. That was kind of it. What if you could like build out your island? Like, what if you could terraform into the water?
That would be cool.
I don't know if that's
I would
something
love that.
Yeah, like I don't know, like
Just
more
build it
terraforming.
as big as you want.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The oceans.
There's so many opportunities for growth. I guess it's just going to depend on, is that something they're willing to put into this game?
Yeah,
it's not paid. It's free DLC.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep that in mind with my expectations.
Yeah.
I feel like stuff like that is just stuff that they're going to implement in a future game, which I think will come sooner than later. with the success of this game, which was far more successful than New Leaf was. I do think it will come in the next 2 or 3 years. But yeah, it's just that's why I wish they would do paid DLC personally. But
Caito, cloud saves. They're going to give you cloud saves.
Oh, that would be
a
amazing.
Second island.
I can return all my switches.
A second save spot. Like, let's not forget there's some baseline stuff still missing. Like, as we venture off into Dreamland. That's where you could actually see me get really excited, is if they start to somehow fix some of the underlying things that I've had problems with Animal Crossing since day one.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun.
They also, after the Direct, they announced the Animal Crossing Series 5 Amiibo cards are coming soon, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I already collect Amiibo cards. I'm excited about another series. Everyone's speculating what's going to be in them.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question from Pastel_Meghan, who asked, what are your predictions for Series 5 Amiibo? And I'd kind of go with everyone else's theories for this. Every
Master
series
Chief.
so far has been exactly. Every series so far has been about 100 cards, if I'm remembering correctly. That's a lot of cards.
Mm-hmm. Okay, predict them all.
They can't do all new villagers for
Can
these
you
cards.
imagine? Can you imagine if that's part of the update though?
I do think we will be getting I do think we'll get new villagers, but I don't think it'll be 100.
Are there some that are like missing? And there must be. I don't know if this is like a Pokemon thing where everybody is here. There's some that haven't made their way over.
There are, I want to say either 8 or 10 new villagers to New Horizons that don't have Amiibo cards yet.
Okay.
I think we will get the Amiibo cards for them, which will kind of like break the the trading of some of these villagers. Some of them are very sought after because they don't have an Amiibo card.
Oh.
Raymond, Audie, characters like that. They go for high values, I guess, in the trading market for Animal
Raymond
Crossing.
was one of Bobby's favorites. I know a lot of people talk about Bill, but Raymond was the one I was trying to think of when once upon a time you and I were chatting about this, and that's the one. So that would actually be very special if Raymond gets a card.
I think they will. And there's also, so one of the biggest theories is there's a set of Amiibo cards, the Welcome Amiibo series, which are RV cards. And those did not get re-released when they released series 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to remake them. Some people don't think this. I think they will. These villagers are in New Horizons. I think they're going to just reprint these characters on this other style of Amiibo card and have them available. Rather than re-releasing the RV cards, I think they'll just update them. And I don't remember how many of those there are, but then that leaves however many. I think we'll get a couple new ones.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The NPCs, and there you go. There's 100 cards.
Mm-hmm. And especially on the reprint, and for I don't know, for whatever reason, I never picked them up, but now I'm seeing them and I'm like, oh, why don't I have those? Like, I want those. I think
you need to get them.
Well, and especially shout out to Argo. Bobby's going to come up a couple times because it's definitely missing
Kirby.
Bobby, and Kirby came up. Animal Crossing and Kirby is very much a Bobby kind of episode, the Nintendo Guru.
One right after the other, too.
Oh my gosh, I know. It was just perfect. It was just perfect. Argo reached out to me. He's going to send me an Al Amiibo card, and Al is
Have
just
you seen what it looks like?
Yes, he sent me an image. It's just one of the ugliest villagers of all time, which I love. And then, I'd love to get my hands on a Bill. And now if there's a Raymond one, there's a sentimental piece to this as well, big time for me. And that's where it becomes a slippery slope. It's like, well, I've got 4. Well, then might as well get all, 400.
500.
Now 500 now, yeah.
No big
so
deal.
please reprint them, and there is precedent on this. They've done reruns of various Amiibo, the actual toys themselves. So it wouldn't be unheard of, and I do feel like this is a place where they could announce that, and it would make sense.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, that's probably enough Animal Crossing talk. If you want to know any more about my thoughts about Animal Crossing, go check out my videos, youtube.com/ConsoleCaito. You can see all my thoughts and opinions, always 24/7 about Animal Crossing.
Nice.
That's basically all I talked about there. But we did get some other announcements. So we're going to kind of go through a few of them here and see what you think. So Project Triangle Strategy, which is now just called Triangle Strategy. They're really, they thought long and hard about that name, is going to be released on March 4th, 2022. Do you have any interest in this?
I need to see another. I'm interested to see what they did about they talked about the feedback they got after the last demo. So I think a lot of people talked about some of the difficulty and then a couple other small changes there. So I am interested. I also think that this is a really good time slot, at least for now. I think March is a good, like, you want to get that out of holiday season. I am just flabbergasted by the name. You know, like at one point, I think I joked on Twitter. I'm like, imagine if they just call it Triangle Strategy. And it's like, that's exactly what they did. It has got to be one of the all-time worst names for a video game. It could be so compelling. Like, it seems like the world there and the characters, like there's so much like richness to the lore and the setting. And they call it like, that is just like they picked random names out of a bucket and just that's what they call their like video game words or even not even. It's like triangle's not even a video game word. Like, it's a terrible name. There's no way around it. It's as generic as it gets. And unfortunately, I feel like that may become the narrative that I'm contributing towards right now. Like, I hope that the game isn't as generic as the name might suggest. It's just super, super lazy. And it feels like sometimes then when there's so many of these RPGs or tactics games that they're just pumped out of a factory. And that's the sense that I get here. But ultimately, it's a gorgeous looking game. I love the art style to it and enjoyed my time with the demo. And I still have to maintain my unbridled, maybe senseless optimism about it because it is such a silly name. So yeah, Game of the Year. Triangle Strategy.
Exactly. This is the same developer that did Octopath Traveler?
That's right.
Correct?
Yeah.
And even that name, I like the name Octopath Traveler.
But even that, like, they're both very laughable. You know, when you first hear, and there's a couple great clips of people reacting to, that was at the very first Switch event, and they're like, Project Octopath Traveler, and it's just like, what is that? What is a stupid name? But
I actually like that one better than Triangle Strategy.
It grew on me. But I remember that at that point in time, I just kind of had it with the Switch presentation. They had to, like 1-2 Switch and the ice cubes and all these other things. It's like, and then Project Octopath Traveler comes around. It's like, what are you on? But who knows? It's just a name.
I did also want to mention, this is not direct related, but it is important news that we need to talk about before we get into the rest of the direct stuff. Someone tweeted, I'm totally blanking on who it was, about the OLED coming out next week. And I had totally forgotten that it was coming out next week. And I was like, oh yeah, I probably need to get all that sorted out and figure out when I'm going to pick it up.
You have to move. Are you going to move things over? Are you going to start fresh?
I think I'm going to move. I think I want it to be my main console. And so I think I'm going to move everything over to my Lite if I can, and then move it all from my Lite to
smart.
the OLED.
Oh, because you have to trade in? Is that what you're doing?
Because I think I'm going to trade in. I do not need. What would that be?
You're counting on two hands. How many switches?
That would be 5 switches.
Yep. No, you're right. You don't need that.
I don't need that. So
Especially
I need to trade one
spots. In. Second islands. Yep.
Yeah, I need to trade one in. So one of these has got to go. It's not going to be my Animal Crossing one. I think it's just going to be one of my random switches, you know, just lying around.
Yep.
And I'm going to do that. I considered for a moment not trading anything in, but that would be silly. That would be silly. They're going to have cloud saves, so I just need to get rid of one.
Can you imagine? I hope so. I hope they do it. But you know, the cheaters are going to ruin everything. So
true. We're already cheating.
We've
already ruined it all. We can't ruin anything else.
Exactly.
Anyways,
so just give it to us, Nintendo.
Okay, so that's coming. Metroid Dread, all that good stuff. Next week. Don't forget about it. We'll be talking about that.
Don't forget.
Okay. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is the first 3D Kirby game. It's coming in 2022. I was a little underwhelmed when I saw this. This is a game, it got spoiled for you.
Yes, it did.
Got spoiled for a lot of people. I avoided it. I saw someone tweet. I saw Arlo, who is a puppet YouTuber who I really love, enjoy all of his content. he actually tweeted, something just got spoiled for me. I'm getting off of Twitter. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm getting off of Twitter.
Oh, that's a great heads up. That's a really, very kind. Very
kind.
selfless.
Yes. And he hates spoilers. I also hate spoilers. Like, why?
Yeah. Me too.
So I was a little underwhelmed. I feel like a lot of it is just like, I know how much Bobby hated Kirby. And so like that was like in the back of my brain as I was watching it. But going back, I've gone back and I've watched the trailer again. It looks good.
It looks good.
It looks good. I will be getting it. I want to play it. I'm excited about it.
Doesn't it blow your mind that this is the first 3D Kirby? Like, Kirby's been around forever. 3D games have been around for decades. And like, he's just been trapped in 2 dimensions. Like, this is the first time. I guess we've seen like a 3D modeling of Kirby, like in Smash and some other things.
He's the perfect pink little circle blob.
Yeah.
Honestly, be in a 3D game.
And I don't know what it is about like my renaissance with Nintendo over the last little bit. Like, and it's probably just where my kids are at, 4 years old now, and Ellie will be 3 in about a month here. And that seems perfect to me. Like, it's something that I can play either like for them, they can watch, which they really enjoy doing. They're watching my wife play Breath of the Wild right now, or it could be like one of their first 3D games. Lincoln's already kind of played a bunch of Odyssey, but anyway, back to Kirby. It actually looked pretty good, and I feel like I'm disappointing Bobby when I say this. He's just like rolling around. Just, oh man, I'm gonna like walk into a wall at some point today, or a door will close on me, or something bad luck will happen as he haunts me. But like Kirby, like man. He is such an actually good character. The fact that he can take on all the different like traits from all these different characters and enemies and stuff is actually pretty interesting. There's so much potential there. And also, I think the reason that I was quite taken by this one is they a lot of Link showed up in this, like the hat and the sword and everything. Like,
right.
I thought that was pretty interesting. The way that they revealed it, I thought was really good too. Like, you didn't really know what you were looking at, and a lot of comments came out afterwards, similar to what I said as I saw it. Like, it looked like The Last of Us from PlayStation, and then it's cute Kirby. So
I love the world.
Very unexpected.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Good reveal. And who knows what people are going to say about that? Like, people can leave comments on the thing like they hate Kirby or they have some sort of bias against it. Like, I want to hear it, if people think we're nuts for being excited about the Kirby game, but that's just kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's okay a lot of things. I can be excited for me. I can be excited for you. I can be excited for everyone else. Like Metroid Dread. I'm so excited for everyone else. I'm not excited particularly for me because I don't have any interest in playing that. But that's why they make different games for everybody.
That is true. That's actually the best way you could say that. That's why they make different games.
Yep. Okay. This I think is for me, it was the second biggest announcement. I think this is probably the biggest announcement for you, was the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. Coming in October.
Yes, soon. It's almost October right now.
Yeah, it'll be October next week.
If we wait a little longer, it'll be October, and then it'll happen. Lots and no information about this, Caito. So this is one of those, for me, and I think this is the theme of the Direct overall, was like there was a lot of shock and awe, which had me like in a very elated kind of mood. And then if I really analyze it, it's like, well, maybe I shouldn't be. And I think this is one of those examples. Like, I can't believe they did it. I can't believe they brought 64 games to it. And they brought a pretty decent selection of Nintendo 64 games. And then who was expecting Sega? I can't believe it. And when I think even middle of the Direct, I was like, I don't know if I really care about the Sega games
right.
like, at all. It was more of like a holy crap kind of thing. But the 64 games are actually pretty decent. And I am left with questions, I think, like a lot of people are, and maybe some guesses that we can get into, which is like, how much extra is this going to cost? And is that the right move? And does it set a precedent for the future? Can we expect them to have multiple tiers of Nintendo Switch Online if they were to add other packages, other expansion packs? I don't know if you think about any of those things, or if you're just excited or not excited about the announcement.
I am very excited. I hope... And I was listening to you and Donnie on Sweet Hangs, and I felt like Donnie had a little bit more pessimism about this,
Big
just
time.
based on the previous kind of Nintendo Switch Online with the NES games that have been coming out. And he actually tweeted about it earlier, and I responded and I just said, money equals more support or something along those lines. I really think this is going to get a lot more attention than that did. They're getting money. I don't know how much it's going to be. I hope it's enough that I obviously don't like paying for things. I know it comes across that way because I'm always like, yes, let me spend money.
Totally.
No, but I hope it's enough that they want to put in the effort and give the games that we all want to see.
Yep.
I think it's a great first selection. Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64 with online multiplayer.
Yes. That's
what?
my one. Mm-hmm.
What?
That's the takeaway for me. Mm-hmm.
We will have the full list of all of the games, including the Sega lineup, down in the show notes, down in the description if you're watching on YouTube. But I really think us paying for it is going to benefit us.
There's a choice. If you don't like it, you don't really have to pay for it.
You don't have to pay for it.
You know, if you don't, if those games don't do anything for you, then don't pay for it. So I actually think that like they could have just said, this is included and there's a new price for the thing. You know, there's a decision that people have to make, and there's always a little bit of confusion that comes around with it. And the naming convention of it is a little weird. Obviously, a throwback to the expansion pack, like the extra memory that you could buy for your N64 back in the day. So, but there is choice there. So I don't know. I guess the only question remaining is how much extra is this going to be? And do you have like a limit in your mind where, okay, beyond a certain dollar amount, it's a little egregious?
Mm-hmm. Initially I was like, it's going to be like double the cost. I was thinking like $20.
Yeah.
But then thinking more about it, I think they would get so much backlash if it was $20 extra dollars.
Right. I agree.
I'm thinking 10.
Same.
I'm thinking it's going to be $10 extra dollars
a
year.
Yep.
So that would
25
push
to 35. Is that what it is?
I want to say in the United States it's 20.
I get mixed up on the U.S. pricing.
But I also pay for the family plan. I don't even know how much I'm paying at this point. I could be paying
that's just
$60.
it. Like
I don't know.
it's such a non-factor for so many reasons and people, and it does maybe complicate things for family passes. Perhaps we'll find out more about that. But yeah, I think that the point really is that there's a wide variety of increases that they could explore before we get upset about it. You know, like I'm genuinely excited about Star Fox 64. I will gladly pay $10, even $15 more a year to play Star Fox 64, the 2 maps that they've got on that multiplayer sucker, and play that with friends. Even just for a night is totally worth it. And one of the things I want to bring up here is that, you know, there's all these different subscription models across all these different consoles and platforms. What this really is and what it's competing with is not with a Game Pass or PlayStation Now. It competes with like Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus. And to me, like it's aside from this shoddy kind of multiplayer experience, like it's getting to the point where it can stand toe to toe with those. The games with gold games are terrible. They're not good. But overall, the multiplayer and online experience on Xbox is better. To me, this is like, okay, this is actually one, I think, important step closer to a genuine virtual console replacement. And I think that's why I'm happy with it. And more games are coming. And maybe there is something to be said about this rumor about Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. And who knows what else could come from here. So that might be stretching or reaching a little bit, but I'm glad to see them finally add on. This seems like a much better and more significant addition to the service than a couple more crappy games. Like I don't think that there are many games left on Super Nintendo or NES that could have had like this type of response. You know? Like
and
there's
they
Chrono Trigger and things, but
I think what made it so exciting for me, it was totally out of left field. And it's something I've been wanting for a long time. Like that has been rumored literally since before the Switch came out. I remember people talking about how great the virtual console was going to be. And we were going to have N64 and GameCube games and all this stuff. And the fact that it's coming this way for me is such a better option financially. They could have charged $20 or $30 per game for a bunch of these games that they are
That's where I was getting. That's where I was like, I was screaming from the rooftops, like, just let me pay for them again. And instead, they're sticking to their guns. They're going to do this subscription model, and that's great.
And
Banjo is there.
Yeah, I was going to say they already
game.
Teased Banjo, Pokemon Snap, Majora's Mask, Kirby 64, Mario Golf, Paper Mario. There's so many games.
Yeah, that's really good.
So I'm excited. So Donnie,
I'm right with you. Yeah, this is a custom.
Come talk to me,
segment,
and I will hype you up about this. I will hype you up.
Don't bother. You're not. Don't try and win anybody over. If they're making up their mind, that's it. But we're gonna be excited about it.
Yeah,
until they tell us it's $50 more, and they this is their new premium product. And I will say, did you see the prices for the controllers? You can buy the N64 controllers, and they're $50.
Yeah,
that is where. So maybe we should get our expectations a little bit more aligned for the new pricing of this service.
Yeah, we'll just have $50. And once they announce it, then we'll react to it. And
that's true.
That.
Well, I just reacted to the price of the controllers. I want colored controllers. Unhappy. I want a red. I want a green, a yellow. I know a lot of people are a fan of this see-through. I love those rock solid colors.
You like the
red,
colors, yeah.
Red, green, yellow. Those are my colors. Blue. Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do that or not, but okay. They also announced the cast of the Mario movie. Everyone was freaking out about this. Look, I'm gonna put it out there. I do not know famous people. Okay. I just don't. I talked about this on stream the other night because everyone was asking me my opinions. Look, I've heard of some of these people. I don't know all of them. I'd heard of Chris Pratt before. No idea what, he's in the Jurassic Park movie. Okay. Yep. I have no idea who Anya Taylor-Joy is. Yeah. I feel like I've seen Charlie Day in something, but I couldn't tell you what. I obviously know who Jack Black is, and I know who Seth Rogen is. The other people, no idea. So I really have no opinion on this. I think everyone was excited about some people, but also it was very laughable to other people. So there's that.
I wonder, what are your thoughts? I want to know, I would love to hear Chris Pratt's Mario and what his take on this is. Is it a version of Charles Martinet, who does Mario and has since Nintendo 64 and will be in, a variety of characters throughout. I thought that was a really nice touch that they had. But I feel like actually more excited by everybody else. Charlie Day for Luigi, I think, is great and could be a showstopper. The guy who does Toad, I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Keegan-Michael Key.
Keegan-Michael, I had it backwards. Yeah, I think that'll be super funny. There's a great comedy element that he could bring there. Things really started to turn around for me, honestly. Like when I saw Charlie Day, when I saw Jack Black as Bowser, I'm like, okay, well, that's actually perfect. That should be so funny. So yeah, Chris Pratt was, and I just have a bit of a thing against Chris Pratt. I just don't think he's all that great, but I don't think that they would. I don't know. I have to put some trust into the casting on this. I don't think they would mess this up.
That's what I was going to say.
They don't just get.
They don't just pick people. They have to audition for.
They have to audition. They don't just go a list of names and go, "This guy's cool now."
They must have done something right. I don't think they were just like picking out of a magazine, or they just I don't know.
We'll see. And we got a date or times, I guess, holiday next Christmas kind of thing, December next year.
Yeah.
So
I guess my fear is people already have these preconceived opinions on it. And so no matter how good or bad it is, it's just going to be bad in everyone's head, I feel like.
I don't know. Miyamoto's there. He's such a happy man. He loves Mario. I think it's in good hands, honestly. I have faith until I have reason not to, and I could be the one like kind of leading the charge against this movie because I do not like Chris Pratt. I don't think he's that great at all. But I still have faith. I think the standout again, one of the standouts to me, in addition to Jack Black, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is perfect. It is ridiculous. I cannot wait to hear him laugh. And man, that is so. That I hope he just does himself. I hope he does. I hope he's just like a stoned out kind of Canadian monkey or ape or whatever he is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a healthy opinion, and I respect that. I respect that you're still excited despite not appreciating some of the cast. So there's
to see, where was John Leguizamo? Where was Dennis Hopper? The guys who were in the very first. They were in the first Mario movie. That was a terrible movie.
Okay. The last announcement that we were going to cover is Dying Light 2 Stay Human. is coming to Nintendo Switch. I have no idea what this is, so you must be excited about this.
Well, I thought it was interesting mainly because it's a new game. It's a sequel to a game that came out. Dying Light was a game that came out for Xbox and PS4, and the sequel has been in development forever and looks to be like super, super ambitious, and a huge game. And so I thought it was really interesting that it showed up at the Nintendo Direct, and I found out maybe later, maybe it was actually part of the Direct, that it's a cloud version. So it's just the only reason I wanted to bring it up is because it's sort of like the latest kind of addition to this being an option for big games that are available for other consoles that you can play on Switch through cloud streaming. So it's not actually being processed by the Switch; it's being played somewhere else, and you connect to that. So I thought that was just more than anything. I just thought that was interesting as there's a growing catalog of cloud games. I think Marvel. Speaking of Chris Pratt, I think. Guardians of the Galaxy was another game that was going to be cloud, and Resident Evil was a recent one. Control was another game that played through cloud. So there's this growing kind of catalog of games you can play in that way.
Right. Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
And we have a little other section down here. I mean, some of these, like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is coming in November. Splatoon 3, they showed some more of that gameplay. Sean can't tell the difference between any Splatoon game, so that wasn't interesting to him. They had that RPG card game, which I was rolling my eyes at that point because Animal Crossing hadn't been revealed yet.
Not a good start.
So I was not happy at the start. We had the Chocobo racing game. And then LOL at Bayonetta 3 being in our other section because that was the closer. That was the closer.
A big deal for some people. Was it a big deal for you? Like, I don't know.
No, I've never played.
The other section is appropriate for us. We're not going to feign excitement for things. Exactly. I don't think it actually looked all that good for a game that's been in development for so long. I think it kind of just was. It looked kind of poor, but there's a lot of anticipation for it just because they announced it at the Game Awards in, I think, 2017. So this was a big deal to some people, but I don't know. That's fine.
Right. Okay, we did have a couple questions. We are running low on time, so we're going to kind of get through these questions. Seamus had one more question. What was your favorite and least favorite moment of the Direct?
I think I'll say Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was my favorite part of the Direct.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what's your least favorite?
Bayonetta closing.
Yeah. Yep.
Bayonetta's a closer, or that card game. Yeah.
Yeah. Those were two of my options too. Yeah, favorite obviously Animal Crossing. Least favorite, I probably Bayonetta more than the card game, just because I wanted it to be something big like Mario Kart 9 or something like that. I'm excited for the Bayonetta fans, though. I'm going to throw that out there.
I wanted to change my best answer, which was my most favorite was Star Fox 64 multiplayer. That's the one for me. Yeah,
that's exciting. And then we've got one more. I have no idea how to say this name. I'm going to say NGA Cha-Cha.
Nice.
I don't know.
Oh, Nagachaka.
Oh, Nagachaka. Okay. Do you want the N64 controller to have built-in rumble or an actual weighted rumble pack to replicate the OG controller?
What do you think? Do you remember the old rumble pack that you would add on?
My answer is I want it to be built in only because my arthritic old hands can't handle the weight of that rumble pack on the back.
I love the thought and I love the question. Like, and even if it like is built in, but they could just give you something to add weight and connect it to the back just cause like this weighted object. I will say built in I don't think it has any nostalgia for me. I remember having that thing hanging off the back and I remember feeling like this feels crappy. Like even when it was happening, I just did not like that, not even one little bit. Sure, built in. I don't know. They always had this weird thing where you needed to choose whether or not you're going to get rumble or memory pack capabilities in that same slot. But
yes, always frustrating. Okay, we need to wrap it up. Sean, where can everyone find you on the internet?
I had so much fun today. Holy crap. You can find me on Twitter at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. And I'm streaming at twitch.tv/Sean Capri. I think maybe some Mario Kart, maybe some Nintendo stuff coming back to there because mainly been Halo over at Twitch, but stay tuned over there.
Okay, and you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Console Caito. That is all for episode 23 of the Nintendo Drive. I loved talking about the Direct. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for listening, and until next time, make sure you remember to go pick up your OLED next week, and don't forget like I'm going to.
The Nintendo Drive is fueled by patrons at patreon.com/YumiCapri, and from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful to the nearly 70 patrons who support us each and every month, with our special thanks to our Capremium producers, Dallas Ford, Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team, and Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on this show and the Xbox Drive. You can support Jonathan at youtube.com/PM Entertainment. Our platinum producers, Robbie Bobby Miller and Trucker Sloth. Our gold members, Argo, Benji Kong, Brendan Myers, Dallas Robbins, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Foolish Fuji, Heather Boney, James Johnson, Joel Brooks, Jose Jimenez, Mac Time, Marcus O'Neill, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, RJ Kern, Skinny Matt, and Xavier Reyes. If you enjoyed this show and you'd like to support independent content, you can go to patreon.com/YumiCapri and choose the tier that's right for you.